Hello, San Angelo, and welcome to Live Daily News Show. I'm James Bellini. Today, we have a video-packed show for you. I sat down with Kimberly Adams with ASU, talked about ASU's homecoming. Then Joe talked with Herb Blonsky about a flock of sheep at the Chicken Farm Arts Center. And then I sat down with Chasity Oaks at the Chicken Farm Arts Center. We're going to get into all that right after these messages from Jim Bass and Congressman August Pfluger.
Find your perfect Nissan at Jim Bass Nissan. With our incredible selection, generous factory rebates, and attractive dealer discounts, you can enjoy affordable monthly payments that fit your budget. Don't miss out on our amazing offers, like the stunning 2025 Nissan Frontier for just $499 per month. You can only find deals this great at Jim Bass Nissan, corner of Houston Hart at Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at jimbassnissan.com.
Republicans in Congress, alongside President Trump, delivered a transformative piece of legislation last month on America's 249th anniversary. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act is the largest working families tax cut package in American history. It is a massive win for Texans and will help foster an economy that is pro-growth, pro-worker, pro-family, pro-business, and pro-energy. The Working Families Tax Cut locks in President Trump's historic 2017 tax cuts, protecting over 475,000 taxpayers in Texas's 11th Congressional District from a devastating 26% tax increase, which would have been the largest in American history. Seniors in Texas, 88% of whom receive Social Security benefits, will now pay zero taxes on those benefits because of this bill. Hourly workers will keep more of what they earn, with no tax on overtime pay, tips, and even interest on car loans for new American-made vehicles up to generous limits. This will put thousands of dollars back in the pockets of hardworking Texans. This legislation also delivers $13.5 billion in border reimbursements for states like Texas and makes the most significant investments in border security ever seen. It reclaims America's energy independence, lowering energy costs for all Americans, creating high-paying jobs in the Permian Basin, and reversing President Biden's disastrous energy policies. Congressman Pfluger fought to make sure Texas values were reflected in this package, from much-needed support for farmers and ranchers through strategic investments, to ending forced taxpayer funding of abortion, to nearly $150 billion in military investments that will directly support the incredible men and women serving at Goodfellow Air Force Base and Fort Hood. It does all this and so much more. The American people were tired of business as usual in Washington. The Working Families Tax Cut package is a clear response to what the American people demanded in November: rein in wasteful spending, secure the border, and make life genuinely affordable again. Nothing is perfect, but this legislation delivers historic, tangible wins for Texans. Welcome back, Eric. James Lee here with Kimberly Adams with ASU. Miss Adams, how are we doing today?
We're doing wonderful today. It's homecoming week.
It is homecoming week. I was about to say, man, we got homecoming coming up for the ASU Rams.
We are very excited. Actually, it started on Sunday, so the students have had festivities going on all week, from Blue and Gold Fest, kind of like a color fest that they've had going on, and then dance and chant in our homecoming king and queen. So they've been going through the voting process all week long and building the bonfire.
Do you know who's won homecoming?
I do not know who's won.
Are you lying to me?
I promise.
Okay.
I still wouldn't tell you if I did, but.
All right. No, the bonfire's going to be great. It's over there. I mean, you can probably see it if you drive down Knickerbocker.
You come down Knickerbocker and you can see it right there behind the stadium and in the parking lot. And we're just very excited for our festivities that we have going on tonight. And they've got another round of dance and chant. So anybody that wants to come out and see that portion of homecoming week, it's always interesting to see the college students dancing on stage.
All right.
And then we've got our homecoming honorees are starting to make their way back to campus. And so tomorrow night we've got our big homecoming dinner and auction. And so we will honor 9 different honorees, from outstanding staff, outstanding faculty, to young alum, an ROTC alum, and our distinguished alums. So we'll have a group coming back for that. Tickets are still available for the dinner, and you can get them on the website, angel.edu/homecoming. Then while we're at our homecoming dinner, there's also buckets and boots for individuals that want to come out. It's kind of midnight madness for our basketball team.
Okay.
So that starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow at the Janelle Center. And then at 8:30, everybody will head out to the bonfire right there off of Knickerbocker, and you'll be able to see the bonfire come up with one of our greatest traditions. And then that leads us into Saturday. Everybody is welcome to come out and join us. We actually have a class reunion breakfast that we do, and this year is the year of the fives, so 45 through 2015. They're invited to come out and join us for breakfast. It'll be on the lawn between Johnson Street and Housley Tower.
Okay.
And the beauty about that is you come out for breakfast at 9 o'clock and you're there for the parade at 10. And so we've been blessed to be able to bring the parade back to campus. And so we'll start right at the Meyer softball field, and then it will come down Johnson Street, and then we'll turn and go past I want to forget names of buildings at the moment, but we turn and then just kind of make our way all the way through campus. And so that starts at 10 o'clock. Always fun for the kids to come out to see that, because the band will be there, the cheerleaders, and then all the different student organizations have their parade floats. And of course it's Ram Fest, so we've got that country theme going through all of homecoming this week.
So what you're saying is, if you're working, avoid Johnson and Knickerbocker,
Absolutely.
or avoid Johnson Street
Absolutely.
in the morning.
Or as you're driving past, just scream "Go Rams," and just be prepared for a little bit of festivities going on as you're driving past there.
All right.
But then we're also excited. So then we've got Ram Jam. We will Ram Jam from 3 to 5 tomorrow at the LaGrand Alumni Visitor Center. Ram Jam this go round is sponsored by Peer Management and Bookkeeping. Very excited. And then on the Market Street stage, we'll have Landco that's coming to perform for us. And then at 5 o'clock, our ASU band will make their way through the parking lot. And it's really awesome if you haven't seen it. They will make their way through and they'll perform in the parking lot. And then they make their way over to the stadium. And everybody is starting to follow suit and follow behind them. So it's a tradition we've tried to start for a few years now. And it's finally kicking in, so where everybody knows to follow the band over to the stadium and watch the Rams win a game for us.
You'll have a full week at Ram Show.
And everybody says, well, on Sunday you rest, right? No, there's always something going
There's
on.
a lot of Alka-Seltzer on Sundays, and a lot of late mornings, and coffee, and I imagine
it's great adventures, especially when the alumni are coming back. I think one of the best things that I see is talking to an alum that has not been on campus for a few years, and we've made changes. And so you'll tell them what it is now, and they'll tell you what it used to be, and the changes in campus and the buildings. And then alumni get really upset with me because Ram Jam wasn't here when they were here 30, 40 years ago. And my conversation back to them is, well, we've only developed it now so you can come back and hang out with us.
you're forced to come back to school and have some fun. All right.
Exactly. So,
All right. What else? Is anything else going on?
I think that kind of gets us through a little bit of everything that we've got. There's always different things going on campus, and we've got campus tours that are going on. So we'll have individuals that'll have those going on. But all of the information can be found at angelo.edu/homecoming, or if you'll call the Alumni Association 325-942-2122, we'll get you taken care of.
I was about to ask how to if people are interested in wanting to come out, who do they contact? But there you go.
And Ram Jam is free and open to the public, and so we have some people that have not signed up for tailgate spots yet, and all they have to do is come by and see us. Even if they come day of, we'll get them set up with a spot, because we just want everybody to come out and hang out with us.
All right. Well, Miss Adams, is there anything else?
We're good.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Back to you.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
Hello, welcome back to the show. I'm Joe Hyde, the publisher of San Angelo Live. I'm with here today a very famous person, but you may not know. It's Herbie Belosky. And before we get into talking about the stuff that's on the table in front of us, you're a drummer and a musician of stature. So
thank you.
He used to play drums for Jerry Jeff Walker. I don't know if you still do. Maybe you still do.
No, well, he's no longer alive.
He's well, I guess you can't play for him if he's no longer alive.
No.
But Larry Joe Taylor.
Larry Joe and Gary P. Nunn, Chris Wall, Dale Watson, Omar and Howlers, Jimmy LaFave.
So how long have you been playing drums?
Well, 50 years since I started in band, but 40 years professionally.
And where did you go? What band were you in? As far as
high school band was Richardson High School near Dallas.
Okay, up North Dallas.
Yeah, and it was a great band program.
Right.
I came out of that program and
so your class of 81, 80,
78.
78. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, close. And and I went on to play, professionally. It's what I always wanted to do. And I got lucky in Austin. I met a lot of Austin musicians.
Well, at that time, like in the early 80s, mid 80s, Austin was going through some kind of a renaissance with live music. This is before they started making Austin weird and everything. But
that's right.
The live music scene, if you think about all the big players that, heck, I would even consider Willie Nelson would be, on the front end of that. Right?
Absolutely. Well, he pretty much put Austin on the map.
Right.
But Austin in the 80s and 90s is still a place to go dance, like the Broken Spoke and Antone's for the Blues. There's still a lot of music going on there at some of these really legendary places. It's grown. There's a lot more people in Austin now, and some of that stuff
a lot more traffic.
A lot more traffic, but that's okay. We welcome the people to come in. It's really just about the culture, and Austin, of course, is known as the live music capital of Texas, and here we are in San Angelo, in the visual arts capital of Texas.
Why would we be visual arts and not live music in San Angelo,
Well,
Texas?
you do have a lot of visual arts. There's some amazing artists that live here.
Right.
And there's obviously some support. The Fine Arts Museum is an amazing building, and
looks like a big covered wagon.
It does, but the ceramics collection, the permanent collection, is world class. It's one of the best permanent collections in any museum. So you guys have, what I call an embarrassment of riches. We do that in Austin too with music.
So let's just go back to music before we segue into the visual arts. Give me a good story of being a drummer on the road back in the 80s or 90s. I just need a good story. It was something that was just really cool that happened. Like we were talking before we got on the camera about.
Okay, I'll give you one. When I was with Dale Watson, we played for Johnny Knoxville on Jackass, the TV show.
Right.
It was the 24-hour marathon.
Okay.
And so, as a drummer, you're facing the band from the back. There, you see their rear ends,
Right.
So what I noticed in the MTV studios, that I looked out the window, and out the window was Times Square and the Jumbotron. And so about 30 seconds before we played, my phone rings, and it's my mom, and I got to answer it. So I said, "Mom, what's going on?" She says, "Am I on the right channel?" Well, Steve-O on the show was duct tape beer cans around his head and was banging his head to make him explode on the table. And my mom's asking me, "Am I on the right channel?" So I said, "Yeah, Mom, we're about to start." And then when I looked out the window when we were playing, I noticed the Jumbotron was broadcasting what we were doing live as well as on MTV, and I got caught looking out the window because I saw myself playing drums on the Jumbotron.
Oh, wow.
For like 4 seconds. But,
Right.
It's kind of a highlight that only I know about. Now you do.
Now everyone in San Angelo knows. But
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the visual arts. What brought you to San Angelo in the first place?
Okay, so Gary Cosmas and Sylvia Perez. I met them in Port Aransas. Gary had a pottery shop there, and Sylvia had been an art director at the Port Aransas Art Center. So when I was playing a couple concerts there 2 nights in a row, I went there in the morning in between and asked Gary, "Hey, can we talk pottery?" I had just been taking lessons for about 6 months. And he said, "Yeah, do you mind if I work while we talk?" And I said, "No, that'd be great. I get to watch." Well, 5.5 hours later, I'm looking at my watch and saying, "I got to go to set up my drums. You want to come to a concert tonight?" And we became friends. And every time I went to Port Aransas, I'd stop in for a lesson and coffee.
Lesson in pottery?
In pottery.
Right.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they moved to San Angelo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
From Port Aransas
to San Angelo.
Like the beach to San Angelo
yes,
to no beach.
Yes, but it was a great move. One of the reasons they moved here was Sylvia wanted to be closer to her parents in Brownwood.
Okay.
But the reality is that Sylvia ended up taking over the manager position at the gallery at the chicken farm and has transformed that place into a really world-class art gallery.
Right.
So, and then Gary is a 50-year potter. I mean, when I tell you he's a mentor, he's spectacular potter, okay? So a great guy to learn from, and one of the things we get along with so well is I taught drum lessons for 20 years, so I recognize good teaching, and he was so generous with me to show me some things. And so anyway, I was here for Ceramics Week earlier this year. I saw some amazing things. Ruth Wilson exhibit at the Fine Arts Museum was like the gold medal at the Olympics. I loved it. So anyway, I asked Sylvia what of my things would be appropriate for the gallery, and I had made some bats for Austin, you know, because we got the
You had
bats,
the bats
under the
under
bridge.
the bridge,
Yeah.
right.
So anyway, she said she liked the bats, and so the next morning I was talking to Gary, and I'd seen all these big sheep everywhere. So I
The
asked,
sheep around San Angelo.
yeah,
The big fiberglass sheep.
yeah, that's a really. It's a wonderful tribute to the history of San Angelo.
You know, the sheep thing started back in 2007. It was Brenda Gunter. She eventually became the mayor of San
Right.
Angelo for 2 terms. But it was her in downtown San Angelo, which is an organization. Every other small town like San Angelo has a downtown Main Street program, usually run by the city. In San Angelo, we have a separate nonprofit called Downtown San Angelo Inc. And they took the bull by the horns. And I remember the first couple of sheep, they would line them up outside on the balcony of the Fine Arts Museum. You know, the big building. It looks
Yeah.
and I was thinking, man, this is the craziest idea ever. But it really took over. It took over, and people are making sheep for anything. You know, I need to make 2 sheep myself, but they're very expensive to make. I mean, you got to pay for the sheep, and that's a fundraiser.
and then have it painted.
Yeah, it's a fundraiser for the downtown program, and then you got to commission an artist to make it look neat. And one sheep that has an interesting story is the one that sits in front of Blaine's Pub. It's actually up on the awning now.
Right.
But when they first got it, the owner of Blaine said, we can't have a female, so he turned it into a goat. It was a billy goat, and it was the most hilarious thing. So the billy goat had certain body parts that obviously went missing pretty soon.
Okay.
And then I think some guy on a motorcycle ran into it and broke it up. So he had to get another sheep. And the new sheep he has is up on, it's the goat. It's actually a goat. It's up on the awning above Blaine's. But I thought that's an interesting twist to the whole sheep
Well,
thing.
seeing those sheep around town inspired me to make these little sheep.
Right?
And
So these are little sheep
So-
right here.
Right,
I'm gonna hold one up.
these are sheep that I made that have different haircuts. You know, because I was
The black ones?
Well, all of these.
This is the Herbie collection. Right?
This is all the Herbie collection. And
gotcha.
what happened was I made these for the chicken farm to sell there at the gallery, and I was experimenting with different motifs and haircuts. And then I asked Heather Harden, who's the pirate monkey. She's a wonderful painter in town. And I asked her if she would want to do a collaboration, and she said yes. And a few days later, I called her and said, I'm doing all these textures. Would it be better to have smooth sides like the big ones? But she said, yeah, I was thinking about that. So that's where I started making these so that they could be painted on. And then it occurred to me that what we should do is have all the artists at the chicken farm. There's like 65 artists who have work at the chicken farm, and wouldn't it be great if all of them could paint a sheep and we could have a flock? And then I started thinking about flock, San Angelo, like it's a town.
Right.
But the sheep are the canvas. The flock is the community of artists, because you have an amazing collection of a valuable resource and talented people.
And it took
here.
a drummer to find them.
Well, maybe it did take a drummer. Maybe it was waiting for me. It surprises me that this hasn't been done before in that way. But for example, these are some that were turned in by people who painted on them. This is Shady Watson. This is a welder that put a welding mask on one. This is Molly. His family was in the wool business. This is Audrey, who's a weaver, has a studio at the chicken farm.
So now what you're doing is you're creating. These are the blanks.
These are the blanks.
And this is you're using the talents that you learned the skills you honed of your talent to do ceramics
to make cartoon sheep.
Yeah,
and then the community has come together to give me their version. And that was the only parameter. It's like, look, I want you to put yourself into this. I want this to be reflective of you. The sheep are just the canvas, know. But each one of these reflects what these artists can bring to it. What I had told, for example, the Angelo State University students, I said, what I want is when your family sees this flock of sheep.
So you went to ASU with a whole bunch of blanks like this.
36 of them.
36 to Angelo State. So the students that are in arts programs there can
included.
Participate. They can
they're
participate
included. And so I told them, I want, when your friends and parents see this amongst the rest of them, can they identify you? Can they say, oh, I know whose that is?
Okay, so you're going to have these flocks of sheep.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know if it's a
maybe
flock,
as many
herd.
as 90.
It's really a herd, isn't it?
Well, flock, yeah. It could be a herd. It could be a herd.
Sheep's a herd.
Well,
I'm going to tell you another funny musician story.
Tell me.
Since we're talking about whether sheep's or herds or flocks. I live out southwest of San Angelo on some land, and my neighbor is a guy named Tom Thornton, who's known as T. Gosney Thornton.
Oh, I know
Right.
T. Gosney.
And he's part of the Austin music scene back in the
Absolutely.
70s, and what
One of
happened,
the Outlaws, yeah.
what happened to him was he met this good-looking girl from San Angelo, and he wanted to marry her, and the daddy said, "Well, I ain't gonna let you marry her as long as you're a musician." So he had to move to San Angelo and become a businessman. He's been a quite successful businessman, but he has a herd of sheep, and he has an alpaca that protects them.
Fantastic.
And one day the alpaca got on the neighboring pasture. And the neighboring pasture, according to a legend, okay, this is all legend and allegedly,
Okay.
the owner of the other pasture said, "Well, that's my alpaca now. It's on my land." And so we had to do a commando raid to go rescue T. Gosney Thornton's alpaca and bring it back to safety.
Well,
But anyway, that's a little story about flocks of sheep.
since we're on television, I'll mention that one of T. Gosney's very close friends, Joe Ferlini, is a guitar player that
Yes.
I play with in Larry Joe Taylor's band.
Yes.
And so I know the two of them do get together and play some still.
They do, and T plays all around town still. He's all over the state, and Flaco Jimenez, I think, is one of his buddies.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, all these people, all these famous musicians that are of that age, he's like right in the middle. I think he's about to drop another record. So he's
T.
been-
Oh, good.
So anyway, we went on a sidebar there, but now you're going to have this herd of sheep.
I'm going to call it a flock. I gotta pull you back to the flock because the title of the exhibit is Flock San Angelo.
Okay, so
Right.
you had to say flock. Okay.
So flock is it. But
Hey, James, will you look up a sheep herd or sheep flock? Because it's really starting to bother me. Anyway, keep
well,
going.
herd is actually a secondary word that is appropriate. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
But flock is the first thing that'll come up.
Okay, really? Okay.
Yeah, and just to tell you, because this is something because I have a colony of bats, right, and a flock of sheep, these are called collective nouns.
What is it, James? Flock. It's a flock of sheep.
It's a flock.
Man, I'm not a rancher.
Well,
Don't ask me to take care of your livestock.
it's okay. So one of my favorites is they call it a squadron of pelicans, or a parliament of owls.
Parliament of owls,
Or
because they think
or a
they're-
congress of baboons, or a murder of crows. There are a lot of names for
Wow.
collective nouns,
Okay.
and so
flock of sheep is correct.
flock of sheep is the one.
According
yeah.
to my fact checker in the back, James.
Thank you, James. Anyway, I'm really happy that my friends Gary and Sylvia. Back to your original question, how did I get to San Angelo? One other story I need to tell you is that my original first exposure to San Angelo was through a man named Sam Lewis. He was also known as Jalapeno Sam. He invented the jalapeno lollipop, but he also raced armadillos. And he was here. He was a longtime San Angelo resident. He's passed away at least 15 years now. But he used to run the T-shirts and concessions at the Terlingua Chili Cook-Off. And I
Okay.
used to play there with Gary P. Nunn. So that's where I met him. And he was a business mentor to me. And I have to say that, my first feeling about San Angelo really has to do with Sam Lewis and Betty. And beyond that, the reason I'm here today is because of Gary and Sylvia.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the flock.
The
flock of sheep. What are you going to do with them?
Well, so here's what's going to happen. From November 1st, which is the first Saturday in November, to December 6th, which is the first Saturday in December, they're going to be on display as an exhibition at the chicken farm. And we want everybody to please come see them.
And for those that don't know where the chicken farm is, it's up on North Martin Luther King Drive. You just get on Martin Luther King from the loop and drive north. You can't miss it. It's on the left-hand side.
That's right. And it's a fabulous facility where there are 17 studios where artists do their work and sell their work. And then they have a fabulous gallery. And then it was also the Roger Allen production pottery studio for many years. So they still have that history going for them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a silent auction. And each one of these sheep that have been worked on by all the local artists, we're going to have a sign-up sheet to bid on these for the entire month.
So you'll be able to see them in. Are you going to put them in a field?
Oh, they're going to be on a pasture much like this, but
Okay.
but it'll be like a turf texture, and then you'll be able to come see the sheep. But I want you to come for the sheep, but stay for the art, because surrounding these sheep, there's a lot of art on the walls and in this gallery that you need to see. And this is about supporting local artists. Right. So when you buy a sheep, when you bid on these sheep, you're supporting the artist and myself and the chicken farm. And then when the bids get up a little bit higher, then you're supporting the Roger Allen Foundation for art scholarships and to pay teachers to do workshops for kids. And then and also the Art Spirit Collective. So we're talking about support your local artists, support your local art institutions and your art adjacent.
And this could turn into an annual event. Probably.
Well,
are you thinking, well, you're going to see how this one goes?
This is the first time I've heard that, but I'm certainly game for it.
Well, you know, we have the annual ceramics competition at the museum.
Yeah, that's something else.
So you could turn this into an annual event and a big fundraiser for not only the foundation at the chicken farm, but also for the artists to participate.
Well, that's the whole point. Is we want this city to understand the resource they have with the talent pool we have here. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Look, these are just a few. Imagine when we have 90 of these lined up, you're going to see so many different beautiful things that, and what we're hoping is that you'll want to trigger when you see that Shady did these, what else does she do? When you see that Molly did this, well, what else does she do? Mm-hmm. That's what we want to do, is we want this to be the springboard so that you guys can discover these local artists.
Okay, all right. Before we go, when is this going to happen?
November 1 to December 6th.
So basically an entire month and a week.
Yes, 5 weeks.
Yeah. So November 1st, head up to the chicken farm, north MLK. I don't know if there's a north-south MLK. It's up north on MLK.
I believe it's 25 MLK, yeah.
There you go.
And also, they're open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm. So don't go up there on Monday.
Don't go up there on a Monday. Well, you can walk through there, but to see the gallery, you need to go on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Before we go, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you played at one of the first Larry Joe Taylor music festivals.
Yeah, I did.
Now, Larry Joe Taylor Music Festivals is iconic around here. It's near Stephenville. What is he called? The Merry Mountain Ranch?
Melody Mountain Ranch.
Melody Mountain Ranch. What was it like the first couple of years of the Larry Joe Taylor music concerts?
Well, the first year there were 6 bands on a flatbed trailer in Mingus, Texas, and there was about 300 people with 14 people cooking chili. There was it started as a chili cook-off.
Okay.
So the origins of that were that I was playing with Gary P. Nunn in Terlingua at the World Chili Cook-Off, and Larry was there with us. And he realized that all these chili cookers have to have enough points to make it to Terlingua. And to do that, they go to chili cook-off somewhere in the state every weekend, and they try to gather points, for winning first through fourth place, right? So Larry figured if I had a chili cook-off, it'd be one more place for these chili cookers to go. Well, this year they'll have like 125 chili cookers, but they'll have 75,000 people come see the music.
Right.
And it went from 6 bands on a flatbed trailer to 60 bands over 6 nights.
Did you play drums for every band?
I did in that first year.
Really? So you're the only drummer for 6 bands. When you're changing from band to band to band, is there a different style you got to play with? I mean,
no, it's the same.
Same thing.
Yeah,
same 3 chords.
Yeah,
same
like
beat?
there's 2 beats you play with, this one or that one. Straight or shuffle, or maybe a waltz every now and then. But no, it's pretty simple, and I could liken it to tippy tapping along.
Tapping along.
Yeah, because what I do is to support that song, and it's the vocals, it's the lyrics, it's the the guitar player. That's the music part of it is much bigger than what I do. But I'm lucky. I get to sit next to some geniuses.
Yeah, you do. You get to see a lot of it, and you got to see a lot of history.
I do,
especially over 50 years of playing the drums.
Yeah, I have. So. And it's been quite a ride, but I'm kind of transitioning from making music to making art, and I'm going to always play music, but the young kids aren't looking for an old guy, so I'm not too worried about being old.
So the sheep is like your retirement plan.
This is my retirement plan.
Come see Herb's Sheep. They're going to be at the Chicken Farm Arts Center on MLK November 1st through December 6th. There'll be a silent auction. You can bid on and buy one of these sheep and explore the artists that the Chicken Farm has and also that San Angelo has. One more thing. If you are a budding artist and you wanted to paint one of these beautiful blank canvases, it's called a sheep.
That's right.
To join the flock.
That's right.
How can you do it? Because it's too late.
There are still a few sheep left, like these here on the table, and you would come by the chicken farm to ask Sylvia if
Okay.
you can get one, and we'll have them until they run out. And I can always make a few more if there's really that much of a demand. But we've pretty much contacted a lot of artists in town, so I am really excited about the participation. But yeah, it's not going to be too late, and more sheep can be made. The one to turn in is actually Saturday, except for that. The reason we're having that turn in is because we want to make promotional posters and things, and so we needed enough lead time to do that.
So if you need more time than Saturday,
but if you need more time, you could still get it in by the end of October.
Okay. So that way it can go on display on the 1st.
It could be a part of the flock on the 1st. Yes.
All right. Well, Herb, thanks for
Thank you,
coming
John.
on this, and we'll go back to the studio.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Welcome back here. James Bellini here with Chasity Oaks of the Chicken Farm Art Center. Ms. Oaks, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, James?
I'm doing good. Now, you just heard about the sheep going on at the chicken farm. But
Yes,
we have some other things going on as well.
we do. We're pretty excited. We've got a lot going on as we round through the end of the year. This will probably be one of our last night markets through the end of the year. That's on a Friday night. So this Friday, feel free to come on out. We've got art vendors and still doing some healthy things. So that's going on. We've got our Roots at the Silo House having a new menu. So they've got some really fantastic food options right now that are bringing it to home style.
Okay.
In line with our upcoming theme for Home for the Holidays. And then we just put out our call for artists for our 2-day holiday market, the day after Thanksgiving and the Saturday after. So Black Friday and the Saturday after, we do a 2-day holiday market for that.
All right.
So we've got some fun things. Again, this weekend we've got Green Apple Music. We've got a band performing, and there was a little confusion on where that one was located, but it is going to be located at the Chicken Farm Art Center. So come on out to that. It'll be a great show.
Is that free as well?
That one is a ticketed concert. Good
Okay.
question. So there are season ticket holders for that, but they also do sales at the door. And if you contact Green Apple Music through their phone number, they do sales as well.
Okay. So what else is going on out there?
Yeah, so we've got artists who are doing classes. We've got some painting classes. We just had a Bob Ross painting class, and so there's been a lot of fun activities going on, and it's really all just put on our Facebook page and for classes, and find something fun and sign up, bring your friends, and come hang out.
All right. Well, Miss Oaks, I guess just this Friday and Saturday, pretty much.
Yes, Friday and Saturday of this week, and then every week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's something going on. So if you need something to do, looking for something in San Angelo, you're bored at home, come on out, come see us, sign up for a class between what we've got going on in our art center and gallery or one of our individual artists. And if you haven't seen these fantastic sheep, these will all be coming into the Chicken Farm Art Center Gallery this weekend as finished products like these guys over here. And they will be on display from November 1st through December 6th. And we'll have a silent auction, and that benefits both the artist as well as the Roger Allen Foundation.
All right.
So going back,
Now-
putting more money back into the community for supporting artists, local artists, upcoming kids who want to be artists, and different things like that.
All right. Now, and there are more sheep coming in, right? This
Yes.
is just a select few that you
Yes,
that we
I
decided
just
to bring in.
I just grabbed a few that were coming in. There were still several more, or a handful more, or maybe a small flock more.
Small flock more, not a herd, a flock.
Right, at the gallery. And so I just grabbed a few as a cross representation of the different extremes that they are, that represent artists, from some that are a little bit more mild and timid, and just, that shows their personalities, to people who are very loud personalities. So
All right.
it's a lot of fun.
Well, Miss Oaks, we appreciate you coming on today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Back to you.
Find your perfect Nissan at Jim Bass Nissan. With our incredible selection, generous factory rebates, and attractive dealer discounts, you can enjoy affordable monthly payments that fit your budget. Don't miss out on our amazing offers, like the stunning 2025 Nissan Frontier for just $499 per month. You can only find deals this great at Jim Bass Nissan, corner of Houston Hart at Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at jimbassnissan.com.
And thank you for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only local news show in the Contra Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the Central Live mobile app. For the live team, I'm James Bellini, and Cover One returns